What's going on, everyone? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Southeast Florida. And I don't know about you guys, but whether business is busy or not, I try to do some side work one way or the other. And I will usually judge the level of that based on how business is looking. I would do the same thing back when I used to work at W2. If I weren't getting quite as many hours because the season was a little slow, I tried to do some side work no matter what it was. I wasn't always proficient with moving, but I could use my hands. I was semi-strong. I could lift stuff, I could organize stuff, I could move stuff around, mow lawns, pick up shit in the yard, whatever. I would do anything to make money. And nowadays, now that I'm a little bit more proficient with moving and I can handle a lot of things, especially on my own, and now especially that I have a pickup truck, I can do a lot of different services that people often need to make a little extra money. And I like to gauge this based on business at the moment. So if business is looking to be a little busier, my goal is to do like at least $500 a month. That's usually a couple of small jobs. Or if business is looking to be a little slower, my goal is usually 2,000. Very two big drastic ranges, but that's just what I like to shoot for based on business. And I find these sources through either referrals or people I've worked with in the past, especially through realtors or even just my junk removal jobs. Somebody might need some help moving something. Or I use social media, Nextdoor, Facebook, and sometimes Craigslist. I used to use Craigslist more often in the past, not so much now. I feel like Facebook and Nextdoor has plenty of opportunities for jobs. But essentially, I was looking for 5 different things: move labor, deliveries, small moves, acting as a transport vessel, and we'll talk about that, and hauling, aka junk removal. Now, when I first started this business, I was working as a mover part-time. I didn't have a pickup truck. I had a 4-door Hyundai Elantra, and I would go to U-Haul and rent either a pickup truck or a cargo van to help me accomplish any of these 5 services. Now, the reason I stuck to these 5 services is because that is what I was efficient with at the time. That was my current skill set. I could still go out and mow a lawn if somebody's going to pay me enough in this hot-ass weather, but for the most part, I stuck to what I was good at in the time being. So I'll kind of talk about how I would set up my price structure, explain a little bit of the 5 different things, and then explain a little bit of the type of material I would bring with me on these jobs. So the first thing is move labor. Now, move labor is moving without the transport. So you don't actually need a truck for this. You could do this in any kind of car. You could take an Uber if you need to. But move labor would be like helping somebody load or unload a pod or a storage unit or a rental truck. Or what I did today, relocation within the property. So let's say somebody has a couch in the garage, they want to put it in the back bedroom. You would relocate that from the garage to the bedroom. Or maybe they just got a new bed set, and the way the original bed set sat on this wall doesn't work with the new one, so they need to flip it to this wall. Sounds like an easy task, but if you don't know how to move big bulky furniture, that can be quite daunting. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is it's not always a necessity for a pickup truck. Somebody just needs a set of helping hands. You may not even need equipment for this. But usually with move labor, I will either charge by the hour, or I would do a flat rate fee based on what I think the job is going to take. And usually I will do a high range. So if I think it's going to take me an hour and a half, I'll charge for 2 hours plus a little bit of wiggle room to handle my transport getting out there. And I'll let the customer know, if we start approaching that 2-hour mark, I'll say, hey, this was based on your original quote that you told me. This is starting to take longer than expected. We're going to start breaking into an hourly pretty soon. You just have to be transparent with your customer. That's all it is. The next thing is delivery. So delivery is pretty straightforward. Somebody either bought something on Facebook and they need it delivered to them, or they sold something on Facebook and they need you to bring it to the seller, or vice versa. Or maybe they bought a toilet from Home Depot and they don't have any way of getting it into their SUV by themselves. So they may call you to go pick it up and then bring it to their house and bring it inside for them. That's a pretty easy task. Toilets can be heavy, but they're not that hard to put in the back of a truck. and even easier to dolly into a house and stick it by the bathroom for the plumber to put in. So that would typically be a delivery, and I will either charge a flat rate fee if it's local, or if it's going to be farther away, I'll start factoring in mileage and gas. And again, I usually do a flat rate. The only time I would do hourly is if I need to relocate multiple items to multiple locations, because that's a lot of moving parts that I can't account for, such as traffic or waiting on the other people at the other places. So that will be hourly. Otherwise, I'll usually do a flat rate, usually $100 if it's a local, maybe 150 to 250 if I have to drive a little bit. But it all comes down to what you value yourself as. If you're getting a rental truck, you want to make sure that you are able to cover the cost of that truck in addition to the gas and the mileage, because that's how you're going to be charged. And then in addition to all of that, you want to make sure you're able to pay yourself as well. If you're going to do a job for $100 and your rental is going to cost you $55 after gas and fuel and mileage, you're only going to be making, what, $35, $45? You want to make sure that you have that coverage. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time for you. And then the next thing is small moves. So this is essentially a situation where either for space purposes, it didn't make sense to get a big truck. Maybe you're in a tighter area, or you just didn't want to have to pay for a truck and it's easier just to use your truck so you don't have to pay for mileage because gas is going to be the same either way. Or maybe the customer didn't want to have to pay for a truck. Whatever the reason, you're filling up the bed of your pickup truck multiple times, or a cargo van, running it back and forth, and I either would charge hourly or I would do by the pickup load. So let's say the first load is a bunch of boxes, that's one load. Let's just say $100. The next load, maybe it's just 2 couches. I just intersect them, strap it down. That's one load. It's another $150 or $100. And you continue that. And that'll cover the cost of me loading and unloading my truck and getting to the next place back and forth. So it comes in handy to know what you're getting into first, such as locations, where's the starting point, where's the ending point, how far are you from my house both ways, and what are the kind of things that you're taking with me. Like, I don't want to have to fit stuff in the back of my truck that isn't really meant to be moved without containment. And I also don't want to have to sit there and wait for you to pack up boxes while I'm waiting to load it, because that's not going to match up with the way I price unless you do hourly. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. But usually when I do small moves or deliveries, I will bring shrink wrap with me, a couple of blankets, tape, and then maybe a mattress bag or two if I think I'm going to be bringing a mattress anywhere, just to help cover it. And you can usually just factor those material costs into your total bill. This Publix is booming today. It's so damn hot out. I'm surprised people don't just stay home. Crazy. My truck says it's 101. It's been a 101 for like the last 5 days. Unless my truck thinks it's broken. I don't know. The next thing is a transport vessel. Now, this may not be the best terminology, but it's what I thought of because I had to do it twice. Way back. I haven't done it since. And there's no reason for it. It just hasn't come up. So a transport vessel, in my words, is essentially, let's say your neighbor needs a pickup truck. He needs to bring an item to his brother's house 10 miles away. He's perfectly capable and willing to load it and offload it himself. He just needs a truck and doesn't want to have to deal with rental. Maybe it's a pain in the ass. He doesn't want to do the hassle. He just needs somebody with a pickup truck. And you say, hey, I have a pickup truck. You say, great. I'll pay you for your time and your fuel. I'll load it and offload it. I'll meet you at my brother's house. That's a pretty damn easy job. Sometimes that's all that's needed. Now, because you're not providing physical labor, sometimes that hourly charge might be a little cheaper. But if it's paying for your gas and in addition your time, even if it's a little less, you have to decide if that's going to be worth it or not. And then the last thing is this entire freaking channel, which is junk removal. It has been a very fast-growing industry and a very trending service to get into with a pickup truck. You see it everywhere. How to make $1,000 with a pickup truck hauling trash, and that's what it is. I don't know about $1,000 all the time. You might get them here and there, but for the most part, I'd say you're going to be a little lower than that. But the good thing about it is, yes, unless you're doing some massive clean out that would otherwise take like two 26-foot U-Haul trucks, you could do them in your pickup trucks, and you could just run trips back and forth. Just make sure you're strapping things down so you don't risk anything flying out, hitting another car. But the great thing about junk removal is you have 3 options to get rid of the stuff that you're being paid to take. Number 1, you can just dump it. Number 2, you can donate it if possible. And you can always drive around and really try to donate stuff. Don't just go to one place. If you're on a budget, go everywhere and try to get rid of that crap. Number 3, sell it. If you get something nice, resell it. A few extra bucks. You just got paid twice. Or maybe it's a couch that had a stain in it. Go to Dollar Tree and buy a stain remover and get a microfiber cloth and see if you can clean it up yourself, and then post it online for a little extra than you would otherwise normally get, and then you can really maximize your profits. Or post it on there for free and say, hey, we have this couch, we're moving soon. Just make up a story. We're going to be moving soon. We need this out of here. It has a stain on the front. You can probably just use XYZ to clean it. We just don't have the time. We just need this gone. Somebody please come by and pick it up. We'll help you load. And then just put it out in your driveway and wait for somebody to come by. Might not be the same day, but, figure it out. But that's obviously, that could be a very lucrative business, which is why so many people do it. And it could be really good for a side hustle because you don't have to pay for all the extra insurances and taxes and the cost of running a business and labor and payroll and all this crap. You just go pick something up and go get rid of it. That's all you gotta do. Just don't illegally dump. Don't be that person. But those are the 5 things I've done and still do the majority of to this day with my pickup truck. Sometimes I'll go out and get a rental truck if needed, but that is what I do to make a little extra money whenever I feel like I need to or want to. So hope that gave you guys some ideas, and until next time, I hope everybody is staying busy. What month are we in? May? I hope everybody's May is going well. We're heading into summer. It's hot, but that is also busy season. So, oh, it's 102 now. My sensor's not broken. It's just that hot out.